Words cannot describe how incredibly happy I am that I'm finally saying this. Hello everybody, my name is Pluto, and welcome to another commentated video. Today we're commentating a star that I'm nicknaming Waking Tragedy, but it's the ID3 in T-Dawn, or ID2 technically. It's the final tragedy star in T-Dawn, in TsucnenT's Dawn. And oh my god, this star put me through so much pain and struggles. I've been going for it like kind of not really on and off, but I did take a 2-week break from Mario sorta in between the grind for this. So this took over a month and a half, and I was a little surprised by that. I did not think it would be as hard as it was, but this grind ended up taking a lot out of me because it was just so brutal, and in a star this short, the mistakes add up over time. As you can see, I actually messed up my strategy for the beginning there. I ended up doing a 50-50 grind across the entire intro slope, but there's a backup where you can dive back on the slope, and that actually allows you to save it, which was a nice thing I discovered. Or not, I guess, yeah, discovered, I guess, sorta. It's not that complicated, but it is a cool save. These intro slopes are mostly just a matter of avoiding the good old 5-frame window where you land on slope but cannot jump. This intro is the kind of thing where it's like, it's very easy to go on long streaks where you just can't get it. And that's part of what makes this grind so demoralizing, is that pretty much every day there was a new jump that was like something super stupid that I just could not get, and I had to practice it over and over again until I got consistent again at it. And like those hills and valleys of consistency were so confusing because I wouldn't know what I was doing wrong that I had to change, so I knew how to like progress, what I should do instead, you know? It was really brutal. And especially in the second half of the stars where it gets ridiculous. You can see in the bottom right there's a counter for the number of times that I got to the C15 section. 22 times before getting it. This Hefo here is pretty annoying. He doesn't really pose any real threat, but if he's in a bad position, you will die to him, which happened many times because I got impatient. Just wait for him to be in a good position and then go for that jump. This jump here is really silly. It doesn't look like much, but it's actually extremely precise, and so many attempts that got that far died to that jump because it's just so stupidly precise, and it's not even an interesting jump. It was another thing that was very tilting because it was like, you get this far and you don't even die to a cool jump. You just die to a jump that is just like, it meets the dictionary definition of a jump and does not go further. It's so not standout. Stand in, if you will. So here we have the invis arch. There's a visual cue with the skybox that you use to line up the D-pad cam, and then what you want to do is, the safest way to enter the arch is with a long jump firsty. So I need to reverse my angle by bonking against the wall, and this allows me to have the perfect angle, and now I can get into this arch pretty well. I do some pause buffering to see when I'm going to hit the wall so I know when to jump. And now, for this arch, you need a combination of a firsty, a good position, and good quarter frames, and if you get the holy trio, not only will you maybe have the Powerpuff Girls, but you will also get past the jump. That is if you don't get unlucky and hold back too early or something. It's a very brutal jump, but I was able to get quite consistent at it throughout the grind. Right, these jumps are pretty easy, but next we're going to get into the slope section, which is actually pretty tough. The slopes here are quite challenging. Once again, the 5-frame window where you cannot jump is a major threat in this section, but on top of that you also need to worry about clipping to the top of these slopes. That's because there's a wall behind these slopes. If you put a wall behind a slope, it'll make about the top third of the slope completely intangible to Mario. Or, well, it's not intangible, but it's like, if you land there, you'll clip through the wall. There are ways to get around it, but for the most part, you just have to avoid the very top of these slopes, and it's very difficult because it's very easy to accidentally go too far and clip out, or on the other hand, you're too scared and you're too close to the bottom and you have very few or even no frames to jump because of the 5-frame window. It's very brutal. Here I use zoomed in Lakitu cam. This makes it easier to see where the walls are, and this was actually a lifesaver. Shout out to Delfino, who suggested zoomed in Lakitu cam for a couple wall kick sections in the star, most notably one of them in C15. It was a lifesaver, and it significantly boosted consistency at certain jumps, which required visual cues. Here we get the metal cap, and we get to arch here. So this is where this actually changes from the Joy or Sorrow star. Instead of going to the right there, we now need to go to the left where we need to get to the precise lava bounce. To put it simply, this jump is incredibly complicated, and to explain all the nuances and strategies that can be used here, it would simply take too long. Just know that this wasn't exactly perfect, and I did mess up the strategy a little bit towards the end, which I'm not even sure it was a good strategy. It's just something that I was told and maybe misinterpreted, but I might make a video on the second channel explaining that jump in depth and all the things you can do to it, because that jump is complicated and it's very brutal and difficult. It may look like just a normal jump, but it is extremely tight and it can literally be luck based in certain situations. Here we enter the course 15 section. We begin with these pretty easy cones that thankfully never killed an attempt, although they got close to it many times. The main thing you need to watch out for here is this jump. This is double invis. You might be familiar with triple invis from Final Tragedy. Double invis is the easier but less consistent brother of triple invis. The reason why it's less consistent is because even though it's shorter and less complicated, which does make it a little easier to learn, there's a lot more variance in this section here, which, or it's a lot less tolerance to variance, rather. I kind of worded that weirdly. But basically, the very small differences in how you do this jump can completely change it and make you die. And that's why it's so inconsistent, because you don't have the best visual cues. I had to do very minor things with the analog stick and like emphasize certain motions or even emphasize certain directions, and that was the only way I could get even remotely consistent. And for this section here with the flat walls, these are very precise, and the only way I could get them with any semblance of consistency was with a lot of pause buffering, as you see there. And even then, it's not free. I died to that section, to that part of it twice. And in total, out of the 21 attempts I got here and died, 19 of them died to that double invis jump. 2 of them would die after as well. And one of the ones that died after was to this jump right here after I killed this eyeball, for safety and also for health. So this jump's a little tricky. You have to do a series of wall kicks. You can actually skip this first little hexagon here, or it's not actually a hexagon, is it? It's a pentagon. I just realized. You can skip this first little pentagon here by just jumping over it, but for the second one, you need to walk kick around it for a little bit to get an ideal angle, and then you need to avoid a firstie there. One of my attempts, I did not avoid a firstie there, and it killed me. And even if you do all that, you need to dodge the fire and dive over here, and this landing is not free. There was actually one day when I just like died to that like 10 times in a row in practice, and it's not free. Nothing in the star is free. Even the easy jumps are very difficult. And that's what makes it such a difficult and grueling grind. It took me nearly 48 hours to get the star, and despite its incredibly short length compared to my other top achievements, I would honestly consider this to be my second best accomplishment, only behind course 14 reds in this game. I'm extremely proud to have this done, and it's just something nice because I don't do stars like this very often, because most challenges that are super hard in this game are focused on endurance, which is just not a skill set that I've practiced, or which is a skill set I'm more familiar with compared to like these like super short and dense stars. Anyways, this is the final jump here. One more little visual cue fest of death and destruction, which was a little inconsistent, and I did die to once. Anyways, I'll let you hear my reaction. I hope you enjoyed this commentary, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye. Fuck yeah! Let's go! Oh my god! Oh. Holy shit, dude. I have never been this fucking relieved to be done with a grind. You do not fucking understand how fucking happy I am that this is over, dude. Oh my fucking god. Alright. We must show an important video on stream to celebrate. Thank you. Not the frog. Oh my god. Just wow, I'm in shock, dude. Alright. We had this many stars at the end of 2020. This is what we got in 2021. In order. Fuck, what was 171? Fuck. No. It was this, right? Yeah, it was this. That's all we did. That much. We've done a lot in this game. I know 10 stars might not seem like that much, but that's a lot, you know? In a game this hard, that's a lot of things that we overcame. That's a lot of challenges that we had to get past. That's just a lot of things that we managed to do. You know, it's like each of these stars took a very long time. Of how much I played the game and how much I've grinded, and even if I couldn't stream a lot of the progress that we made this year in this game, I still call it our progress. Because without this incredible support that I get every single day, even at the absolute lowest moment, you know, in the summer, we had this much support. And I think everyone knows what comes next, but just know that regardless of whether or not we get past whatever comes next in this game, know that we fought really hard to get this far, and I just think that's incredible how far we got. You guys know what's next, though. That'll be another day.